Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Herd Fit Podcast with Dr. Sam Marie and myself, Coach David Syvertson. This podcast is aimed at helping anyone and everyone looking to enhance their healthy lifestyle through fitness, nutrition, and most importantly, mindset. All right, welcome back to the Herd Fit Podcast. I am Coach David Syvertson, and this is a first in Herd Fit podcast history. There are, I think, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of us, 10 of us sitting on one episode, and we are all on. These are all CrossFit Bison coaches, and we are all going to talk about all things CrossFit Open. Yes, we are about a month away from the start of the Open, but we still have a lot of work to do, a lot of things to do within our walls as well. But there's still a lot of people to sign up, both inside of gym and inside of our gym and around the world. And we talk about it a lot, and sometimes I forget that many people don't really know what it is. It's something that kind of we twist our arm a little bit to sign up for. You know, other people in the gym are doing it, but you don't truly know. And instead of me talking about it for the 6th year in a row, which I probably sound like a broken record with some of these things, on this snowy Sunday, we're all snowed in right now. Our coaches were able to give us some of their time to talk about their experiences, their stories, and there's a lot of them over the past 11 years at Bison. This is we just finished year number 12 here. So guys, thank you so much. I'm just going to go through their names real quick. We have Coach Adam R. We have Ashley behind me, Dan Coda, Kristen Torres, Bobby Wallum, Liz Tanzola, Brian DiCarlo, Kayla and Keith Andrews. What's up, guys? So I'll say hi at once.
Hi.
So how do we do this? I don't know, to be honest with you. So I'm just going to start throwing some ideas out at what we really want to talk about with the Open. And I'm going to direct a question to one or two people, let them give some feedback on it. If someone else really wants to blurt something out, they absolutely can. And we'll see how it rolls. And I have to start with our head coach at CrossFit Bison. She's probably going to be mad at me for that. But I really want to hear what Liz has to say about what is the CrossFit Open? Like what truly is it? And it could be an answer that you to give someone in the supermarket about selling the CrossFit Open to a complete stranger. It could be something that you've gathered over the years from your personal experiences. You've had a lot of ups and downs in the Open yourself, or it could be from a coaching perspective. So Coach Liz, what exactly is the Open to you?
I would say I love to see really what I can do, what somebody else can do in the fitness space. Like, we all come here for some reason. So fitness oriented reason, and it brings the best out of you no matter what. And it brings me back to the old gym. I think it was like 2017, 2018, Daryl Z getting pull-ups. He had never had a pull-up, and I think it was you, Dave, took him from like 0 to 18 pull-ups, and he was pumped. And then the next year he had 0 chest to bar and went from 0 to 25. I still think you coaching him. And something he never thought he could do. And fast forward to 2022, Taylor Radcliffe is another one that surprised herself doing 17 pull-ups, never done a pull-up before. So I think it just brings out a different side of people. It's something that, things they don't know they can do, they finally get to do in the comfort of their own gym, surrounded by people that they do this with all the time. I hate to say it's competitive. Like, there is a level of people that do like to get after it and see how far they can take it, but that's not the main reason why anyone should do it or does it.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing about the Open is there's 10 different approaches you can have to it. And the fact that they're all under one roof is what makes it special, because the goals are different, the abilities are different, the whys are different, but they all kind of fit in with each other. Our newest coach on staff, this is your first part of the Open, first time being a part of the Open from this side of it, Mr. Dan Coda. And what is it to you? Because we know you're very into the sports side. We already know that you've had all your goals laid out for the quarters, the semis, maybe the games, right? But now you're on the coaching side of it, and it is a little different. But you still get to pursue your own path as a competitor. What is it to you, and what are you anticipating being on this side of it?
Yeah. I mean, the Open at its heart, I think, is a way of bringing the entire CrossFit community together all around the world. That's kind of like the coolest part for me about it all, is that I get to put up my scores and get to see what people in Australia are doing, and in Iceland are doing, and in Argentina are doing. And that's a really cool part of it all. For me this year, being able to, coach people through maybe their first open. I've been kind of keeping tallies lately and asking around of who's going to be like their very first open, which is, I'm really excited for those people because they have kind of no idea what they're in for. And for me, like when I think about like my first open, it's about giving yourself a new challenge that you just aren't used to doing. If you're not competitive in the sport, which is totally fine if you're here for fitness and just want to get a little bit fitter, this is going to help you kind of figure out like where you're at, this year. And then when you do it again next year, you're going to see how much better you've gotten just by coming in and being consistent and coming in 2-3 times a week and just getting, trying to work on your nutrition and seeing how that all goes. But it kind of gives you a reason to want to get a little bit better in the gym and want to get your first pull-ups and want to do all that stuff. So I'm just really excited to help people out through this kind of a crazy, sometimes stressful time when you're stressing about the open and what's the workout's going to be. And, when you're warming up and how hard is it going to be and how dark do I want to go and all that stuff. You can just rely on your fitness and what you've been doing all year.
Yeah, it's really not that different than what we do day to day. There is different energy in the room, but I think that's why this is for everyone. If you're doing CrossFit throughout the year, you're ready for it, whether you're RX or scaled. Funny story about Dan. Dan took the initiative, new coach. He's been asking, I don't know if you're calling it trivia or fun facts at the whiteboard about the CrossFit, the history of the CrossFit Open. And the day after your most recent one, Lori Jordan came up to me with like a petrified look in her face. And I was like, oh boy. She goes, so at Dan's whiteboard talk, he said that double unders have been in every single open. It's one of only 2 movements that have been in every single open. And we started talking about, and she's like, do you think I have enough time to learn them before this year's open? And I think it's really important what you said about people doing it for the first time. Tyler from the Barbell Spin, one of those guys that's been on the Barbell Spin channel, I guess you would call it. He messaged me to talk about the open. And he said, this is a fun fact that I didn't even know because they get all into this data stuff, those guys. In the United States, Bison has had more athletes do the open 4 or more times than any other affiliate. We have 224 athletes that have done that. And it's impressive considering the average athlete only lasts 2.5 opens mathematically. So, yes, I guess some people do half an open and then they stop, but the numbers on that, most people don't make it 3 years that do the open. And I think that's really important that you bring that up, that, hey, you want to keep tabs on whose first open is it? Because it's not just, hey, are you having a good open? It's, I want you to do this again next year and use this as the yearly barometer. Now, Bobby, you've been coaching for a long time. We've talked about that on the podcast. And last year was your first open. You essentially started working at Bison during the open. Yeah. And you have any thoughts on what it was like being the new guy at this gym and what felt different during those 3 weeks, or was there any difference at all?
In terms of like my working out, there was no real difference. It was just different that like I didn't know anybody. So I'm just the new guy there, like working out. And then, that was able to like be a good springboard maybe for me to meet a lot of people there because like, oh wait, this guy can actually work out. He's not just a pretty face, he could do the work too. So that was cool. It was cool to be able to do that and like have that be my first real experience with the Bison community. And you guys are all, so into it, which made it a lot easier for me to really just kind of step in the door and do my thing there. So it was cool. The support system's great.
Yeah. The timing was good for when you started right in line with the open. Kristen, so you've been at Bison for a while now. You've been on the staff now. You're kind of getting like into you're going to be into year 2. What is there anything about the 3 weeks in the open that makes it feel different than the rest of the year? Like what is there? Is it different energy in the vibe? Is it the people? Is how nervous people are? What is different during the 3 weeks?
So all of that, everybody's so nervous. Even people that you think like just come into fitness, they come in and they're either nervous to judge or nervous to compete. Either way, but still excited. So even when their nerves are there, when they first get in, as soon as they start judging, like, that's it. This is my job. This is what I do. So it's kind of cool to see that. And the energy, at least at our gym, I think any gym, is so exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting throughout the 3 weeks. It really doesn't die down. Of course, the open party, the first week is the biggest, but the energy stays up the whole time.
Yeah, we did get some negative feedback last year from the AM athletes, no names, about making them do it at Friday Night Lights, and it really impeded their performance. But with that said, we will do Friday Night Lights again. And like what Liz said earlier, for some reason, whenever I think about the Open, I think about the old gym as well. Like those were like that first Friday Night Lights, the second one where we taped the floor, the Mandini shows where he came in and faced off against Storms. Those were really fun days. Those early days. DeCarlo, you're coming up on 10 years at Bison, and you're almost there. And you and I go even further back. I always like to tell people that Brian gave me my first 2 concussions in football practice growing up. And to you, I think I would say at least once a year, maybe sometimes twice a year, you talk about, man, I wish they did more 1-rep max lifting in the Open. What can athletes expect from a programming perspective, both what you're good at and what you're not good at? Do you have anything that you would give people to expect as it comes up?
As far as movements are in the Open are concerned, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like this next month, if they're going to sign up and they want to give their best effort, is there something specific? Like, should they be lifting heavy? Should they lift heavy when they're tired? Should they bias their cherry picking towards certain kinds of workouts? Is there something that you think, just from all of your experience, that you think they should definitely have this on just in case, because it's probably going to come up at some point?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the way the Open structured, I think that bodyweight movements, you should have a strong bias towards them. I mean, you can improve your bodyweight movements and your engine in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how much you're going to add on to your 1-rep max clean and jerk in the next 6 weeks. That might stay the same. That takes months, years to get better at. And there is a class where you can, work on those lifts as well. Coached by a very handsome young man. But at any rate,
great plug for that.
And there's actually going to be a couple more weeks of it from all this snow. So at any rate, I think your bias definitely should be towards motor and bodyweight movements. As much as it hurts me to say that, because I do love a heavy lift. I do love lifting under fatigue. But with the 3-week structure and them sending 25%, the top 25% to the next level, the quarterfinals, I think the quarterfinals is where you're going to see those heavier loads and lifting under a little bit of duress.
Yeah, it's important to note that this year, because I think people don't keep tabs on this the way we do, what the season is like. I mean, everyone does the Open, and there is a next stage. It's the top 25% worldwide in your division or region. But basically, if you finish in the top quarter of CrossFit Open workouts, you move on to optional quarterfinals, right? You got to pay another $50. You got to devote an entire weekend and do some really hard workouts. That has toggled back and forth between top 10%, 25%. Last year, it was top 1/2% based on age groups and Open division. So everyone should know that this is back to the 25% number. And I will agree with Brian that if there's one way to get there that's a little bit more sure than the other, it would be bodyweight gymnastics, engine, endurance type. We had an athlete scale a workout in the Open 2 years ago and still made quarterfinals, still made top 25% because she was so good at gymnastics and burpees and being able to gut through workouts. So I do think that does, at least for the 25% number, I do agree with you. It gets back to you there. Get you to that quarterfinal stage if that is a goal of yours. Keith and Kayla, you guys could both answer this. Why is this for everyone? Because we just got done talking about the sports side, and we heard someone talking about a first timer. But those are the extremes when we talk about people that we would love to see do the Open, right? Competitors, it's pretty obvious. You never really need to tell them to do the Open. Like they have the dates down like in October. They have like cycles that they're on ready to go for it. You don't need to twist their arm. new people, a little bit of explaining, hey, this is what it is. This is why we think it's important. But the people in between, those are the ones that I have found and am finding right now. It's hard to constantly tell them this is for you, because at the end of the day, the vast majority of athletes are not doing this to compete. And that does get lost in translation a lot at our gym, but also worldwide, that this is not just for competition. And that's where it's hard to connect this to people that are just, hey, I'm just using this for a workout. I don't want to get hurt. And no, I don't need to pay $20 to find out that I'm the 39,000th ranked man in the world in CrossFit Open. So if you guys are, if you're trying to convince people, Keith and Kay, why would you say this is for everyone to try and do and be a part of?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, there's going to be one winner that comes out of the CrossFit Open. So like for your goal to be, I want to win, there's only going to be one person that can do that. Mm-hmm. So for the rest of us, you know, that really, there's got to be other reasons. And it's a great chance to like come closer with the people at your gym. You know, the first Open that I went to, I was just a spectator because I didn't do CrossFit at the time. I just came to watch Kayla. But it's where I like met a lot of you guys. It's where I met a lot of the people that I'm now friends with at the gym. It just has such a great energy in it, and it puts you in a little bit of a uncomfortable position, like uncomfortable mindset, and you're nervous for it. It makes you grow as a person, as a CrossFitter, but also like as a teammate, like cheering someone on, someone cheering you on, watching people face adversity, and then watch how you handle adversity afterwards. You're going to grow as a person and an athlete. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. It makes you do things you never thought you could do. And I think that's a really, really cool thing about the Open. I'll talk from personal experience. Even just in the last 6 months, I've been rehabbing multiple different injuries. So I am in that crowd of like, I'm like, why should I sign up for the Open? But I'm more excited to sign up for the Open because it gives me a benchmark. Like it gives me a new foundation. Like, I don't care if I'm doing foundations. Like I'm excited to like show up and crush whatever I can do. So if someone else is in the same boat of like, I don't know if this is for me, I don't know if I can do it. Like it truly is for anyone, and you'll surprise yourself. So I am like really excited about that because it's almost like year one for me is how it feels. Like it's like a new beginning, a new foundation. And it's a great benchmark, a great test of like where we're at every year.
Thank you guys. Adam, what about you with your approach to coaching others? Like, did we lose Ramsden?
Yeah.
Oh shoot. I wonder if I accidentally just kicked him out. Oh, there he is. Hi, Adam. I just kicked you out, but you're back. We'll let you back in. I might have.
What else is new?
Just getting this blue versus green rivalry going a little bit. Oh, Adam, he doesn't have anything to say to anyone. Sorry, guys. We'll move on. But from a coaching perspective, how much do you buy into? And this is not just for coaches, like the opportunities you have to show support for others, because we've seen it all throughout the years. You know, you wish everyone can get the attention that they want. You want to help as many people as you can, but it's a numbers game. It's an hours game. It's a time game. This just opens the door to coaching, to really being a good coach and helping and sending that extra text on a Saturday afternoon to see someone how they did, or having someone do a redo and you kind of go through a strategy with them. What kind of opportunities come from that perspective as a coach trying to help and support others in the Open?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit more accountability for it. because when you're part of a team, you know, like obviously we get the questions every year, like, I don't want to hurt the team, so I'm probably not going to sign up. And we were very clear that you can only help your team during the open. But once we get into the workouts, that's when we get a lot of the questions that I think people are normally afraid to ask. You know, should I go RX with this workout? Should I scale this workout? You know, what would help the team better? So like those conversations are really good to have, because then it becomes a question of, well, it's really your personal gain. Like Kayla said, these are benchmark workouts that you should be able to repeat and see your progress throughout the years. So I think getting those questions and getting people comfortable, because they want to help the team so much that they usually ask something that they normally wouldn't in a normal class, is really helpful for having those conversations as a coach.
Yeah, and in regard to the teams, I want to touch on that. I know a lot of people listening to this probably know about our deal with all the teams, 4 teams, 3 teams. This year it's 2 teams. This is the second time we've done that. But Ash, I want you to touch on what the team element. So when I say teams, it's the intramural part of Bison, where we make teams. There's captains / coaches on every team. And it creates a little rivalries, competition for fun within the gym. And before anyone knows, before everyone kind of goes into, hey, is that too competitive? It's all for fun. You get the most amount of points you do is by wearing your team color, doing the workout, judging for someone. It has very little to do with performance. And I want Ash to touch on a little bit, because she's kind of been one of the main trash talkers since this started. And and I want her to try to talk about the fun behind it, because it does add a competitive element to people that don't really want to pursue a quarterfinal, semifinal CrossFit Games type stage.
Hold it.
Yeah. You're good.
Yeah. So as you guys all know, we do the teams. This year we've got 2, as you guys have already heard us already starting to talk crap to each other. So it'll be fun. But I think the biggest thing for our teams, right, like Dave said, is we've got, you wear your team color, you get a point, you do the workout. So if you're coming to Friday class, you're going to do the open anyway. So you might as well sign up and be put on a team. You judge for someone, because everyone will have a judge, you get a point. So it's so easy to get points for your team. And then I think having the 2 teams or the 3 or the 4 teams just helps us as coaches, because we know, you know, who's on our teams. We could talk to them, follow up with them, really engage them. And then it also just adds a little bit more fun, instead of just us all doing the workouts and kind of just showing up to do them. You kind of get to see who's on each team. We get to push each other. There's extra trash talks. There's competitions going on, you know, in between people. I just think it makes it more fun because, you know, I guess to kind of piggyback off of what Keith said, like there is only one winner. So we're not probably going to be the winners. So let's make it fun while we can, with a mass group of people across the world doing it. So I think that's something that we do that I think is really important, to make sure that everybody feels included, no matter what number you are on the roster. You're adding to the team, and we just make it more fun.
You know, one thing that we always see during the open, and we see this during the draft, which is coming up, everyone, so try extra hard at the gym, is we give someone a point for judging. And why do we do that? We want to make this as inclusive, where it's easy to get your 5 points, right? Team color, submit the workout, do the workout, and judge someone else for doing the workout. And often in the past, on Sundays can get pretty busy during the open, where a lot of people either redo the workout. Raise your hand if you've redone a CrossFit Open workout ever in your entire life. Yes. We will touch on that, by the way, because I think that's actually a pretty important conversation. We've actually done complete episodes on that. I want to get your guys' feedback on it. But a lot of people show up to Sunday. We've had 50, 60 people do the open in an hour and a half on a Sunday. And it's really tough to do that with judging, because it's not a class structure. You can't just pair people up and tell them to judge each other. A lot of people have to come and go. There's different schedules. So because you get a point for judging, people will show up to the Sunday for 2 hours and do nothing but judge, because they want to add points to their team. And that's a good way of showing that, yes, a lot of people get the attention for the good scores, the big lifts, all the muscle ups, but usually the people that contribute the most to their team are the people that judge the most. And it's kind of like goes with the ethos of Bison, and ethos of Bison during the Open is how selfless can you be? Can you really come in and give hours? We have people show up on Friday nights to classes. I've had people show up to a 5 a.m. class to see if they can help judge. And that doesn't happen throughout the rest of the year. And that's just something that, you know, we always talk about. We screen coaches for a while, and who the people on our who the people are on our staff. I will tell you this right now, for 11 years, a lot of it has come from how they act during the Open, and good and bad, you know, how to respond from stress, what they do to help, not looking for any thank yous. They literally just want to show up and help out. And that's always been a big deal to us, how it just gives other people the opportunity to really come in and chip in and help the process work. I want to kind of maybe circle back to some of you guys and your personal experiences as athletes. You know, been here for almost 12 years now. We're all a little older than we used to be. Some of us are really starting to feel it, and we're still trying our best, and we're not using it as a crutch. It's just a fact that we feel a little bit older than we used to. Liz, you've been through the ringer with the Open over the years. You've been healthy and crushed it. You've been banged up and had to scale, kind of what Kayla has coming up her way, a couple times back and forth. And I want to ask you, like you and I used to work out like 4 times a day just to get ready for the Open. And, you know, where are you at with the Open in terms of, because I want everyone to understand where some of us are at, you know, with our goals, right? We know Bobby's got a goal this year. You know, Bobby's a games athlete last year. He's already has a semifinal invite. Like there's an approach there that he is taking this serious. Dan Cota, very competitive. This is what he transferred throughout the year. And I want us to touch on some of our experiences of where are you at, and can you relate to some athletes in the gym, and what are your goals in the Open?
I'm probably going to be about where Bobby is in the Open.
Let's go.
I'll be honest. I don't know the answer to that question. I would love to. I think I am kind of working my way back, and I'm doing movements I've done like a year or 2 ago that I haven't touched in 8 months. And I'm trying to kind of figure out, if I do RX, I know it won't be wonderful, but it could be something that kind of sticks with me that I got to do, or I could scale it down. And I know it would be a little bit of a safer approach. I think I'm just going to take it kind of one workout at a time, but my goal is to try to RX it if I could.
Nice. I mean, I think Liz has probably made, like, you know, we're always big on coaches being examples for others. Like, you know, don't just tell them what to do, like show them what to do. And, you know, Liz is, we don't have to go too deep into her latest back issue, but she probably was the best example, one of the best examples I've ever seen of someone never stop showing up. Like she would scale, I would say 9 out of 10 workouts, like completely different movements, by the way, too. And she came in and she still got a lot of value. She's been through this before. I remember that's when Liz got really good at strict pull-ups, was when she was not allowed to kip. She's not allowed to butterflies, and she strict pull-upped her ass off for basically a year. And now she's a monster with them, and it helped out her muscle ups, her toes bar, all that stuff. So I'm really looking forward to watching you in the Open too. Not necessarily like, hey, what was your score, but like what you're getting out of it mentally and just the approach, because I think a lot of what you did over the past year, you get to reap rewards of it during the Open this year. Really looking forward to that. So Bobby, we'll stick with you next. Okay. In regard to what is a competitive approach to the Open? And I'll say it so you don't have to. Bobby will make top 25%, but he's still going to go hard. Let him talk about that. He already, because he was top 10 at the CrossFit Games last year, he actually already has a semifinal invite. So, which is not until the last weekend of April, I believe, in California at a very historic CrossFit sport venue. So if you're looking at it from his lens, all he has to do is get top 25% in the Open and then finish top 400 in the quarterfinals. And he'll do that as long as he stays healthy, knock on wood. But where does that change your approach to these next few weeks? Or you just go hard no matter what because you want to be a part of that?
I mean, as far as the semifinal invite, still have to decide. If that's worth it. It's a lot. It's a lot of time, a lot financially. So
yes, it is.
That's something to weigh. But as far as just like my competing aspect of the Open quarterfinals, not really. I'm gonna try my best in the Open because that's just what you do. When you compete, you just try to beat everybody else.
Yep.
And so I'll do that. see where I line up, and then I'm going to do the same thing for quarterfinals. But as far as like my training approach or anything, it's pretty much just the same for now. Not going to really increase anything, because realistically, you do CrossFit, you train CrossFit. That's what you're training for in the Open. It's CrossFit, so you're going to be ready for it, whatever it is.
Kristen, what has changed for you in regard to the Open? Because we've seen you at Bison alone really come in and blossom here in multiple ways. But I mean, I'm just thinking about like these ring muscle ups that you're banging out, and we got to get on those, by the way. They're coming up, but just the strides that you've made as a lifter, as an athlete, and the work. And I see you put the work in on stuff that you really don't like to put the work in on, like some of the engine stuff, the long machine work, the biking. What has changed for you in your few years at Bison, or I would just say when you first did the Open versus where you are now? What's one thing that has really changed for you?
So just understanding myself, really. Like, we all raised our hand that we've done the, workouts twice or 3 or whatever amount of time. But now I know, like, at a timing, right? Like, as soon as I'm done with a workout, if I didn't feel good about it before knowing my score, anybody else's score, how did I feel? And then based on that, then maybe I'll repeat. But I'm getting out of the, my score wasn't like her score, his score, and repeating because of that, which initially, it absolutely was like that. The first couple of years, I was like, oh, no way, I'm doing it again. So I think I've grown in that way of understanding myself above, the score. And I wish I would have recorded sooner. I think I did my first 3 years or signed up. My first 3 years, I didn't sign up for the Open. So I can't see what that 3 times over really got me. What did it really do? Yeah.
That right there. Okay. We got to touch on this a little bit. So people get offended, especially gym owners get offended easily. And, we talk about the Open and doing it, and this has come up a lot in like some roundtables I've been a part of, and where, hey, we do the workouts. We just don't sign up for the Open. We do the workouts. I just don't put my scores in. And staying away from a judgmental perspective, that's not where I go with it. But I have compared it to, back at them, and it got a little heated, not heated, but a little bit back and forth of, I think it's a similar taste, similar flavor to people not coming to your gym, but stealing your programming and doing all the workouts in their garage. And hey, are we going to lose sleep over that? Absolutely not. We've seen things like that happen before, where screenshotting workouts, sharing with people. We post our workouts every day in our Facebook group, and there's people that are not members at the gym that could easily see it in there. So it's not a control freak thing at all. But I do think there's a loyalty factor to, hey, if you're going to do these workouts and really put yourself forward, you should put the 20 bucks into the pot and support CrossFit and everything that they're doing for the Open. I still think that it's probably the lone occurrence within CrossFit that brings us together the most. Not the games, the CrossFit Open. And if you truly believe in it and you feel loyal to it and you're actually doing the workouts, I do think it's something that we should all put some thought into, that we should, be registering and putting the scores in. But Kristen, man, if you did those workouts and recorded them years ago, like, you would see tangibly how far you've come. And that kind of data right there could really help people out. So I hope anyone that's on the fence that is in that position can really take something like this and say, hey, I'm actually going to be really happy I did this 3 years. Even if I see my scores go down, even if I hit a Kayla type situation where I really, hey, this year's not going to be my best, but I'm going to have somewhere to jump off of from here. Coda, you're pretty, you reflect a lot about performance and your mindset. Shout out Rafi. What are some mistakes or hard lessons that you have learned because of the Open?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, early on, I put a lot into what my score was, and how that reflected on me as a person outside of CrossFit. Even I just, I took it way too serious for a while. This was before even getting to masters, where I had zero shot of making it to regionals or anything like that. But in those early years, everybody was on fire for CrossFit. And so I was like, oh, I got to do it. I can, I'm going to do everything it takes. I'm going to try to make it to, that top like 60 people or whatever it was at the time, which was, if I look back, I have my stuff here. Like In 2016, I was the 14,684th man, you know, or in the Northeast, I was 1,212th. So
Nice.
only like, you know,
Congrats.
1,100 people off of where I needed to be. But you know, it would make me upset. You know, like I would take a lot out of it. I would be like, man, I'm putting all this work in. I'm not getting where I want to be. Like, how does this, like, I'm never going to get to what I want. And you know, Michelle would my wife would yell at me about like, I thought you did this for fun and now you're getting all depressed about it. And I had to really analyze that, right? I had to really put in some deep thought into, you know, why am I taking this so serious? And, you know, it matters to nobody else what my open score is, you know, in the end. And I have now come full circle now where my score is not a reflection of me, but I just want to get the very best that I can do, you know, out there. And if I'm signing up, it's going to help me just put my best, knowing that I'm doing this for a purpose versus if I'm just doing it and I'm going to do the workout anyway, but I'm not going to sign up because I'm not going to get to where I want to get to. Really that, you know, that just takes all the pressure off. And I think it's important that like in everyday life, like pressure is all around us and learning how to deal with that is going to help you. And the hardship of a workout alone can really help you in your day-to-day when, you know, your kids are going crazy or, you know, hard times at work. Knowing that you can get through a really hard workout can kind of give you that confidence in a lot of other things.
Absolutely. I mean, to quote Ramsden, I think he said this last week or 2 weeks ago, just doing really hard things and how good it is for you to do that. And I think we've all been there with the Open. We'll all be there again this year. You get nervous. DeCarlo, describe that knot in the stomach feeling, because you've been playing sports your whole life. Now that I'm a wrestling expert watching Brock have 3 matches, I'm like, dude, these guys are wired different. Like the people that do it for a long time, because I don't think I can handle it. Can you talk about some of the nerves and what those nerves actually mean and how you overcome them and what that can do for you outside the gym?
Well, first of all, Brock is an absolute animal on the mat. I witnessed him wrestle a couple weeks ago. So I don't know how much it has to do with you and Ashley, but he is a beast. You know, competing in any sport, football, wrestling, baseball were my main 3. But I used to always say, like, just get that first hit out, right? Like, as long as they don't score a touchdown on me in the first play, I'll be good, right? Because I know I'm like the nerves, the butterflies, like I'm ready. I don't know if I can contain myself. Then someone hits me and I'm good. Like after that first play, after that first at bat, after that first pitch that I'm catching, you know, getting that first hit out, it changes everything, right? It gets you to a place of calm and gets you to a place where you're ready to go. To compare that to the Open, in an open workout, I think you can do one of 2 things. You'll see Coda sometimes rev up one of the Echo bikes higher than anyone possibly should do it. You know, that might be your way of getting that first like little bit of anxiety out. To me, I look around and I got to remember, like if Dave's in my heat, if Bobby's in my heat, if Tara, 9 months pregnant's in my heat, I got to remember not to, you know, try to keep pace with them in that first round. And just go about my plan, right? And I always have a plan. I know my capabilities. I know about how many reps per minute I should be at. I know all of that. But sometimes when that anxiety hits and you see, you know, Dave taking off on burpee box jump overs and all you want to do is keep up with him, you know, if it's a 12-minute workout, after minute 3, you're going to be done. But again, finding ways to deal with it, like sprinting, in a warm-up, which is a really good way. You know, every time I warm a class up, I'm like, guys, you should probably do a round here at like full speed as fast as you can go. I'll give you 5 minutes to let your heart rate come down. That's going to make you feel better going into the workout. So things like I said, getting that first hit out, getting the first workout out, getting the first couple reps in at the pace that you want to be at, and then kind of finding your, you know, your zen, your calm, and your regular pace in a workout, I think is the best advice I could give people.
Nice. All right. So I'll let you tackle me before the first workout, right before you get your first hit out of the way. Give me my next concussion. Ramsden.
Sounds good. We'll do it.
Yeah. Ramsden, I think I've had you judge for like quarterfinals, semifinals, judge me more than anyone in the Open. Just, you're awesome with just being selfless about your schedule and knowing that it is needed. It helps us a lot. But it's also gotten to a point where it actually makes me feel calm for whatever reason. I don't know why. Like when I have you judge, A, I know you're going to do it right. B, I know how you count. That's part of it, like that, like simple stuff. But can you talk about what it is to judge? And it could be in the Open, quarterfinals, semifinals. Like there are like scary times to judge. Like there's some people I had to judge Bobby a few times as he's trying to make the games. I'm like sitting, I'm like, if I screw this up, he's never going to forgive me, that kind of stuff. Right. But what is it like to be on that side of it? Like we're talking about being nervous about working out and hitting these reps and ranges of motion, but what is it like to the judging side of it? Because people should know what to expect in that regard as well. Because if you come to any class on a Friday, you will be judging someone.
Yeah, it can be super nerve-wracking, especially when you know that people have aspirations for how well they want to do. And if you count a no rep or something like that and throw them off, like that could ruin a workout. But I think when we're all coming together as one community, like we want to do that with the integrity of the Open. So it's just like nobody's going to no rep you because they're afraid you're going to beat their score and they want to tear you down. It's just like we're always talking about the standard as the standard. But obviously, you're judging people that and you want them to do the best for themselves. So it's really a double-edged sword of you want to keep the integrity, but you also don't want to, I never want to make you do an extra rep when you don't have to, or I can let something skirt. So it's just like finding that line and, making sure that when you're judging, you ask the person to show you a couple good reps. So at least they know what you're looking for. Right before, but I don't think it should be a stressful thing because remember, 95% of the people at the gym, one rep or one no rep is not going to change where they're going to be. If somebody's going to make the quarterfinals, they're not going to be on that bubble of that one no rep that you gave them knocks them out. So I think stressing over it is similar to stressing over a workout beforehand. Like it's unnecessary, but we're all going to have that anxiety no matter what.
Yeah, and just don't have to silver count your double unders, and you'll be good to go. So,
yeah, they've been in the Open every year. So,
yeah, that's true. Those are good points on that. And I want Ash to touch on something in regard to what Adam touched on, because again, we can sit here and talk about it being competitive and not being competitive, but it is, and a lot of people do view it competitive. I view it as competitive, right? Like I try to beat people. I know people Alex will come in and try to redo a workout to beat one of us. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I really don't. But I think I've kind of matured in that mindset where Dallas and I used to go at it all the time and we would always try to one up each other. But again, like Adam said, you never wanted him to do poorly. And that was like a really good, healthy, competitive relationship. But let's be real. And I want to keep this podcast, not just, daisies and unicorns. Like there are some ugly sides to the Open with the competitive side. And we've seen it over the years. We pretty much deal with this, I would say, every year. I think Liz and I, it's almost always the first workout of the Open too, where we're like, dude, I'm not dealing with this person. That person's this person's that. It can get ugly, but that happens in competition and you have to accept it. It's part of the big picture. But Ash, I want you to touch on what we can do as athletes, as, take your coach hat off, just your experience hat on, what we can do as athletes to kind of manage some of those emotions of competing with people in the gym, not just to beat each other, but kind of in this, I need you, you need me type approach so that we can both get to our own ceilings.
Well, coming from someone who's had the experience of people literally watching workouts to, one up you each time. I've had that in the past. Won't name names. But I think that, yes, I think having like a training partner, I know like you and Liz have, I know Ramsden and I work well together. But having somebody who is on the same page as you workout wise, right, is always good so that you guys can push each other. But I think you have to keep it at like, this is a friendly competition. I make you better, you make me better in that sense. And stressing that as an athlete and being like, okay swallowing your pride maybe sometimes and being like, hey, great job. Like I was trying to catch you and you just took off, you know, and doing that and extending that olive branch, I think sometimes to someone who may be out to try to catch you, to kind of see like, hey, there's no bad blood here. Let's kind of, you know, keep this fun and keep it good. I do think that there is time and a place, you know, to push each other and yell at each other and really like, let's go and get in each other's face. I think it's great competition and just to make it more fun. But I think as an athlete, for all of us together, right, we're here for one purpose, and that's to work out and have fun and to be better people. So, you know, if we can kind of use that and not take the competitive side to a negative, I think it's huge because we don't want to ruin the experience for someone else, right? One bad experience, one bad open for someone can turn them away from CrossFit or, you know, our community in general. And I think we've kind of pushed, I should say, experiences or people out of our community who do think that way, because, you know, we strive to make sure that this is a positive experience for everyone. So answer your question.
Yeah, that's great. Keith, I think if I have this right, do you know what open this is for you? Fifth? Okay. I remember my first beer too. So do you know, in all seriousness, right? I think that's probably less than most of us. And I actually am curious to your opinion on it because a lot of us have been doing this for over 10 years now. And what do you wish the Open did different? Or is there something that you wish there was more of? With only 3 weeks now, it can be tough to really touch on everything that we need to do. But your background, your analytical background, and the fact that you haven't seen this full gambit. Were you ever in the Open when it was 5 weeks?
No.
So tell me some things that you wish were a little different from your sport background, your analytical background, or if there is anything that you wish CrossFit did a little different with the Open to get more out of it.
It's a good question. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like sometimes it feels like the last couple of years in terms of like programming. Yeah. I don't want to say like, I feel like some of the workouts are a little bit similar. Like year over year, like the last 2 years, the first workout was like a dumbbell burpee workout.
Yep.
And then eventually there's going to be a thruster, like pull up chest to bar workout. So like, I'm not saying I know what the workouts are, but and I do think that the programming, it tests all components of CrossFit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like from my perspective, it's like, it's not even that much. It's not even about that. Like to me, it's so much more about, instead of like how I perform and stuff, and if the workouts are tailored to me, or I don't know if I want CrossFit to really push like making the experience great for everyone. And like, how can you do that? Like if Adam has a bad workout and he, throws his grips down and he like it's going to happen. But like, if he storms out of the gym and he's mad, like I'm going to remember that. But like, if Adam has a bad workout and he like stays and he loses his voice because he's cheering for someone so hard, like I'm going to remember that too. And I want CrossFit to push more of like making the experience great for other people and like less so about how I do in the workout. Maybe more of like an unselfish feeling. Like if my first Open, I thought about it more like that, maybe I would get more less nervous.
Yeah.
I would care more like how other people are feeling.
Yeah. I think I threw the idea at them back. Our gym, I think the highest attendance, the most likely people to do the workouts was the year where they had the affiliate leaderboard, where it was how many reps did your gym get? And everyone was contributing. There was no bad, there was no good. And, they said they were going to do it again. It looks like they're not. We'll see. I don't see it as an option there yet, but that could change when the workouts come out. And that was truly that was the highest our gym had this. We're all in it together. Like that was our every rep counts year, that black shirt that everyone got. And I still see at the gym right now. That to me, that was still like my favorite Open shirt that we've ever done, is that when everyone did a workout, it got put into the CrossFit Bison score. It wasn't first, second, third. It was just Bison score. And that was when I think we had the most people return the next year as well. So I see that side of it, Keith, and that's probably something they could do. It's hard to do that with just programming, but I do think that there are ways to make this more inclusive from a gym perspective rather than individual. Now, I want to kind of go rapid fire on this. Is there? Everyone's going to touch on this. All right, so I'll give you a 30-second cap, and it could be 5-word answer, and I'll shout out the name just so we keep it organized. Liz, we'll start again off with you. Is there anything that you wish you knew about the Open when you started? Like, you're one of the true Bison OGs back when we started, and you had no idea what the Open was. You barely knew what CrossFit was when you did your first Open, and it was just something that we all did together. You've been through this so many years, so many times around the sun. Is there anything that you wish you knew about the Open prior to now?
Say workout wise or?
Yeah, I would say workout wise, like the feelings, the emotions, the schedule, the demand, like what goes on in your head Thursday through Monday. Like, is there anything that you wish you knew that just would have made it a better experience? And you could talk it from the perspective of an athlete that is considering signing up for the first or second time this year. And they're kind of on the fence. The coaches are talking about it at the whiteboard. They're listening to a podcast or social media posts. There's an email about it every other day. Is there something that you wish that you hope they know, they pick up on, rather than this is a test of fitness in an area that they might not want to be tested on?
I think as a person that likes to know what I'm walking into with anything, like even this podcast is nerve-wracking. I would just like to know, when the workouts are released. That's something I think as a beginner that gets sometimes lost in translation. It's like, well, what are the workouts? Well, we don't know. But knowing that they come out on Thursday, movements that they should, prepare for. But again, you don't want to know the workout, but it's nice to know there will always be double unders or, some form of this that you should train for. And I feel like that it's always 3 weeks, not that it's 3 weeks and it's 5, then we're going to change it to this, it's going to be heavy. It might be heavy, just knowing that it's not going to be heavy. It's all inclusive. This is when the workouts come out. Just simple things, I think, help a new person be like, I think I can do this.
Yeah. Okay. Bobby, what about you? What's something that you wish you knew back in the day that you definitely know now?
I think how fun it is just to do it. I mean, I came in, I did it at Great White. I wasn't a member there. They welcomed me right in. So it's just immediately the welcoming community. That should have been the first sign of kind of how it would go. And then the next 5 weeks, which is way too long, but for the next 5 weeks, every Friday night showing up and just having an awesome time, meeting Dan there for the first time, judging each other. So it was just an incredible experience being able to do that. So just knowing that, that hopefully can help someone sign up for the first time.
Coda, my fellow CrossFit Hoboken beginner class 2012. What's something you wish you knew about the Open back then?
Yeah, I think just that you're gonna surprise yourself. You're gonna have some of your best athletic moments as an adult in the Open, just because you're signing up for something, you're part of a community, everybody's there cheering for you, and some people don't love that, but it's just such a cool thing that everybody wants you to do your best for you, and that it's just you're gonna surprise yourself. So that's something I had no idea when I was signing up, my first year, that I would ever be able to do my best that night when it all counts the most, for this little competition.
I love that. Kristen, what's something that you wish you knew about the Open when you started?
How time consuming it is. I let it be that way, of course. Because those 3 weeks, you're group texting and you're side texting and you're working on the, what warm up you're going to do, what your workout is going to look like, what your week is going to look like. But it's all exciting. It's all, like a fun distraction for the end of the winter type of thing. But it is time consuming.
Nice. Brandon, what's something that's I'm getting an echo right now. I don't know if you guys are. Something that you wish you knew about the Open when you started?
Just like Brian was talking about before, that those nerves before, take the first 5% of the workout and go slower than you think you should. whether that's 30 seconds for a 10-minute workout or the first minute of a 20-minute workout, like just pace that a little bit, because then you'll get into that flow. Like for my first couple of years, it was just, everything was like bat out of hell right away. And it was just like, after the workout, I'd be like, why do I keep doing this? It's so stupid. But those nerves, they just get you like, and it's just, especially on that first workout, you're like laser beam focused to going as fast as you can and getting the best score. And that doesn't always work out that way.
You know who I watched do the open prep this past, I coached him this past Friday, was Mike Warren. This past week, it was the dumbbells, the box jump overs, dumbbell snatch, walking lunge workout. Brutal workout, by the way. That a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. And he did the first round in like a minute 35, minute 40, which is a 6-round pace. Nobody even got close to 6 rounds. And he like just gutsy effort for the last 6, 7. He never stopped, but he was just dragging the entire time. And then about 10 minutes after class was over, he was still laying on the floor by the bathroom with his hands. And I'm like, that's what we all did. Like, I love watching Mike work out because I see all of us back when we started. Like, that's just what you did. And I'll tell you what, there is value in that. Like, there's value in just going hard. Mike did a really good job at the competition at that mall. What's it called? The name of that competition just recently.
Vitruvian Games.
Yes, the Vitruvian Games. And that assault bike box jump over workout, like just watching him get 25 cals done in 18 seconds and then have to do box jump overs. I respect it. And like, as much as we could talk about the lessons of, hey, make sure you pace, and you absolutely should in terms for the power output part. It's a fun lesson to learn. And it's something that can make you laugh and smile years later. Brian DiCarlo, what's something that you know about the Open now that you wish you knew back in the day? I think you're on mute, Brian. Hold on. There, you got me?
All right, I got it.
Sweet.
I'm going to flip it around a little bit. I wish I can go back to not realizing how far away I was from being like a regional athlete and how hard I worked to try to like, we were so naive back then. Like, if I could just go unbroken, I could be just as good as those guys. And I'm like, no, if you could go unbroken and go twice as fast, then maybe you could be as good as those guys. Like, knowing that now, it's like, don't get me wrong, I still bust my ass and go as hard as I can in the Open, but I don't know if I hit the same gear, that like last gear that I did in the past. And it may have to do with my age and my physical capabilities too. But like, if I can go back to like thinking I had a shot, I don't know if that sounds bad or not, but like it just put me at a different level for myself. Like, not that I could compete with those guys, but how hard I went was harder than I ever could have gone personally. So I don't know, I guess being able to like having that hope and that dream of being on a regional stage made it, I think pushed me not only in the Open workouts themselves, but in training as well.
No, I love that, Bri. Like that. I love that you said that. I think that's a really strong statement that a lot of people feel, is that the dream is what made you work really hard. And as we get older, or some things happen, once the dream disappears or it starts to get smaller, or you start to feel like you're far away, you also take your foot off the gas. And now it's kind of like a double whammy where, hey, maybe the dream's not as strong, but you're also not working as hard. And that can be tough to deal with.
True. I do think having the 25%, I think the sweet spot was the 10%, because you have the athletes who can handle the quarterfinal workouts, and you're still like pushing so hard. Like, I know I'm not going to get to the next stage of that, but being like pushing hard enough to get to 10% is, I think, puts me at that level I was, where, when we had a 5-week Open and I thought I had a shot at regionals, which, in hindsight, I was probably 7,000 spots off, but, having the quarterfinals at 25 or 10%, I think is a great thing for our gym and for CrossFit in general.
Kayla, Kayla, this is one of my favorite Bison trivia questions. I think you, in this chat right here, you did the first out of all these people. You were the first person to do a CrossFit Open workout at Bison.
I remember that.
You were like 12 years old.
My first CrossFit workout.
Yep. Thruster bar facing burpee. That's crazy. What's something that you know now that you wish you kind of knew back then, where you're still feeling it out with our buddy Eric Ellingson?
Yeah. I think I had no idea that the feeling I get when someone says the open, like it's the overall feeling of like, you don't really get butterflies that often as an adult.
Mm.
And like that feeling when someone says the CrossFit Open's coming, like I immediately get like butterflies and nervous, like just on this call. So it's not really something I wish I knew, but I just had no idea that could happen for me as an adult at the same time every year, year after year after year for the last 9 years, 10 years. And that's really cool to me.
Mm. Yeah, that feeling. I like Kathleen always says it. Like if you could bottle the adrenaline that you get during something like this, you'd be a millionaire.
Yeah.
You'd be very, very wealthy because it's hard to fake. It's hard to replicate those butterfly feelings and what you get from it. Ashley, what do you know about the Open that you wish you knew back then?
I've been sitting here listening to all of you guys trying to think of something different. I think what Ramsden probably said is probably the biggest thing is I think over time we start to learn how to pace instead of, doing like Mike Warren and just gutting out for the whole, from the get-go. I think that's probably one thing I wish I knew back then was to kind of like take your time, not try to kill yourself. But at the same time, like that feeling of doing the Open, like the 3, 2, 1, like those butterflies, like Kayla said, it doesn't change. It doesn't go away, whether it's your first year or your 13th year of doing this. It doesn't go away. And that's kind of right. You get those butterflies because we care so much and we're so excited about doing this. So as much as we've learned, I think over the years, it's almost like I wouldn't change much besides learning how to pace and taking your time a little bit.
Yeah, and I'll wrap it up, and then we'll wrap up the show, guys. Thank you for giving me an hour on this day. Really appreciate your time. But I think that the reason that I get pulled in by it all the time and get excited for it, that I really wish I appreciated more back in my days when I started at CrossFit Hoboken, was that there's truly nothing like this. Like I would even say in the world, there's nothing like it. I know that the explosion of High Rocks, but that's different. That's a one-day thing. In some cases, that's a 1 to 2 hour thing. This last 3 weeks, and there's a lot of ups and downs during the 3 weeks, whether you care about your performance or not. There's just a lot of hoops you got to jump through to get this done and to look back on it and be proud of what you did. And I think when you're a part of something that is so unique, like the CrossFit Open, nothing like this in the world, you should lean into it, because at some point you might not be able to do it anymore and you'll miss these days. And I think it's really important to take an opportunity like this and run with it while you can. Because yes, it could be your last Open. This could be your last healthy Open. None of us get to control what our bodies are going to feel like 12 months from now. And you want to make sure that while you're here in the present, you take advantage of every single opportunity you get. And whether I'm doing it with the 5 a.m. crew, a Friday Night Lights crew, an open gym redo for the third time crew, that energy that you get in there from other people going at it, and I don't care who it is, anybody in Bison, anybody, competitors, not competitors, new people, old people, friends, non-friends, there's an energy that you get from it that you can't replicate at any other point. And to not do it is I would even say it's foolish to not do it. If you do CrossFit, I think you should be doing the Open. And there's a lot of reasons behind it that go far beyond your workout and your scores. So if there's anything else that anyone wants to add, you can say that now, or I will wrap this up. Is there anything that anyone wants to get off their chest about the Open? Or we touched on a lot. I really think that if there's anyone on the fence of what this is and what it could do for you and the gym you're a part of, you should be able to get in this episode. But is there anything else that anyone wants to say? Because I don't want to cut it off.
Just one thing is that if you sign up, you become a member in the Bison team, and we are trying to become the top affiliate in the world. We do it. We are always up top there. It's so much fun. There's so much pride behind that. So many times as I go around to these competitions, all around the US or whatever, people are like, oh, I know CrossFit Bison. It's like you had the open announcement there. Oh, you guys were like always one of the top affiliates. So I think that, as a selfless thing, it's like just being part of the whole affiliate, the whole group, the whole family, sign up and do it. Cause it's just so much fun.
Thank you, Dan. Those are great words. Do it for Bison. All right. All right, guys. Thank you again so much. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of the day. Hopefully you don't lose power. And I'm sure we'll see each other at some point this week. I don't know when, but the gym will open up this week at some point, I promise. All right. Thank you, guys. Hope everyone enjoyed the show. And we will see you next week. I will edit that out. Goodbye. Thank you, everybody, for taking the time out of your day to listen to the Herd Fit podcast. Be on the lookout for next week's episode.